episode of the Consistent Performance Podcast. Today, it's about the reason why you don't feel motivated and this drive sometimes. Do you have this sometimes? You have a week where you're super motivated, you're attacking all the tasks in your business, you're progressing. The other week, you just feel like, what's going on? You don't any drive, don't have any motivation, and things are not really progressing, right? You're not working on the right things. And also in the evenings, you just maybe, browsing on social media, you're watching some stuff on YouTube, right? Checking out some stuff, but you don't really feel like it fulfills you. You don't really feel motivated. It just leaves you empty, and then you just start the next day and the next day, and that's how you spend your days. And so there's many reasons for this. One reason is, of course, clarity on your goals, motivation long term, that you know why you do what you do, that you have a business strategy that you follow. Someone tells you exactly what you should be doing at each step, because clarity very often gives you motivation. But I want to talk about another thing, that if you have business strategy support, you have a coaching program that you're maybe in, you are, have a business coaching or some course that you're following for your consulting, for your agency, for your business, well, then there might be some other reasons for this. And one big reason for this is dopamine. And so I want to talk about why dopamine is such a big thing for you, and how you can use something called dopamine detoxing and other tools to make sure that you feel more drive and more motivation. So first of all, what you got to understand is this. We live in a world nowadays where, especially on social media, Instagram, YouTube, and so forth, your dopamine is spiked all the time, which is kind of this hormone which makes you feel like, wow, I feel kind of a reward. I feel good. I should keep doing this. Right? Coffee, chocolate, sex, nicotine, they all give you a lot of dopamine as well. And so that's why we want to have those, because it makes us feel good. But here's the big problem with these things. The big problem is that research has found out, and there's a great episode by Andrew Huberman if you want to dive deeper on this, the dopamine detoxing and the dopamine research right now. There's research that has shown that if you have a spike in dopamine, right? For example, you eat something like chocolate, or you smoke a cigarette, and so forth, or you binge something on social media, what's going to happen is that subsequently after this, your baseline levels of dopamine are lower. So you have spikes, right, in the levels in your blood, but you have also baseline level in general, how you feel, your general drive, your general motivation. And that goes down after you had an increase. So that is a big issue, of course, because why is it? It's mainly because to regulate yourself, right? So that you also save energy and so forth. For example, when you have sex and you always keep doing it, at some point you stop searching for food. You just have sex all the time, evolutionarily thinking, and you don't do anything else and you're going to die, right? So that's why there's a mechanism in there. And same thing for other activities. So that's the reason why we don't feel this certain fulfillment when we always spike our dopamine. When we always watch YouTube, we jump from one thing to the next. And let me tell you a quick story here. So me personally, right, I've noticed this a lot. I did an experiment where for a few weeks, I watched YouTube in the evening, right? Either on the phone or even on the smart TV, have the YouTube app and just browse around the videos. This is the example of dopamine spiking. First of all, it gives you videos that compete for your attention by spiking headlines, thumbnails, right? Crazy pictures. Oh, click here, do this. You're missing out on this. The 5 secrets. And first of all, you're super overwhelmed, making the decision which video you're going to watch. And secondly, those videos are usually short ones that spike your attention, that spike maybe a feeling of feeling good after you watch some tips or some hacks or some news. And then the video is already over. And of course, the video is also made so that you get a lot of input in a short period of time. And that makes you feel good for a short period of time. It entertains you. But the problem is it's all short dopamine spikes. And I did this for myself, and I watched YouTube and so on, jumped from video to the next. And I didn't feel good after this, man. Like I felt kind of empty. I jumped around and I was like, what is this? It didn't fulfill me at all. And now what I changed something up. So first of all, I bought the yearly Masterclass.com subscription, which is a subscription where you can watch different masterclasses on, dozens of topics. You might have seen the ads, right? Masterclass.com by pros, by experts. The cool thing is it's a high quality production. You can watch this in the evening, like 45 minutes maybe, and it's not jumping around and spiking your dopamine. There's just some person sitting there with a high quality camera production and telling you some interesting things. So it's sustained attention. It's not dopamine spiking. And I watch this, and it's interesting. It's exciting about topics I'm interested in, and it makes me feel much more fulfilled. So that's one way how you can do some form of different dopamine strategy, where you don't have this jumping around between different things that spike your dopamine and subsequently make you feel worse. The second thing is, of course, what also Andrew Huberman says, is that you stop layering dopamine together. For example, the classic example, you watch something, you sit on the couch, you eat something, you have a snack, an ice cream, every kind of feel-good hormone all together, watching, eating, comfort, snack, chocolate, right? And all of that together spikes dopamine so much. So he recommends, for example, also trying sometimes in the gym to not listen to music, or driving the car. That's what I do recently, not listening to music, just focusing on being present in the moment. Same thing, you're on the couch, maybe just watch something and eat before or after, right? Things like that. And that will help you also to have less of a dopamine spike. And the third and final thing is dopamine detoxing, which is basically a more extreme form, where you say, hey, I actually don't have anything that spikes dopamine, any form of pleasure, any kind of entertainment for a whole day or even a few days or a whole weekend or more. And you basically reset yourself with this. I think it can be worth a shot. I like to combine this with, of course, the best is if you do nature activities, because not doing anything, just sitting in a room, you can do this, but you might also have an effect if you're just going to the forest, right? Just walking into nature. I mean, that's also some form of dopamine detoxing, which will also help you to let go of some of these spiking things that are happening with you. All right. And that's one thing you can incorporate as well. But in general, I think the better strategy is not to say, okay, I go all out crazy, binge on social media, and then every 2 weeks I need to do a detox. I think it's much smarter to change your habits. I mean, that's what we're all about at Consistent Performance Mentoring, to make sure your habits are good, your habits are sustainable. And one of those habits is actually that you find a good replacement for addictive social media, and therefore feel better and feel improved well-being in general. Okay, hope that makes sense. Think about this. If you're not feeling that drive and that motivation that you want to have long term, it's a combination of factors. It's macro motivation, knowing, hey, where am I going to build my business long term in the next 3, 5, 10 years, but also in line with my life where I'm building this. That's super important to have clarity. Then the medium term, in the next 6 months, 12 months to 1 to 2 years, how do I make this roadmap? Do I have the business strategy to getting there? Sometimes I see this with my clients, sometimes it's you have a vision for a big business you want to build, but the way of getting there would be another business that, might be an agency or something else that is a cash cow for you. And then at a later stage, you build a passion business once you have that automated. That's also clarity that you need to have. And the other thing is, of course, having help along the way. Business mentor, coaches in general, super helpful for the business strategy of things, the side of things as well. The other thing is then, of course, is it micro motivation, which is the dopamine detoxing, right? Do you have problems on a physiological level, your hormones, your focus, your drive, your energy, your habits, right? Are you not sleeping well? Are you not recovered? Problems with dopamine because of bad habits. And that is the micro motivation that makes this a problem for you. Okay, so attack all of those areas. And of course, if you think that was helpful and you want any help with this, go to kilianmarkert.com and we can have a discovery call and talk about your situation and how to improve those for you. All right, guys, hope that was helpful. And let me know if you have any questions, put them in a comment or send me a message, and see you in the next episode. Have a good one.